Okay, so welcome back to the deep dive.
Great to be here.
Ever wonder how your brain, makes those snap decisions with all that information flying around?
It's a fundamental question, really.
Well, today we're diving into something called spatial summation. It's key to how your nervous system works.
Absolutely. It's about how neurons listen to many voices at once.
And you, our listeners, actually asked about this. So our mission today is pretty straightforward. Understand how neurons integrate all these different signals.
How they decide whether to act or not,
Right.
based on the collective input.
Let's get right into it. What exactly is spatial summation?
Okay, so imagine a neuron, like a little information hub.
Right.
It's getting messages constantly from maybe thousands of other neurons. And spatial summation is how it combines the signals arriving at different locations on its surface.
Different spots on those branchy bits, the dendrites.
Exactly, the dendrites. At pretty much the same time, think of it maybe like a crowd trying to shout suggestions all at once.
So it's not just one loud voice,
Uh-huh.
but the combined effect of the whole crowd.
That's a great way to put it. It's processing input from this whole network of neurons sending messages to it.
And these messages, they aren't all saying the same thing, I guess.
No, definitely not. Some are what we call excitatory. They nudge the neuron closer to firing an action potential.
Like a little go-on fire signal?
Kind of, yeah. Encouragement, you could say. But then you have inhibitory signals.
Whoops, do the opposite.
Right. They make the neuron less likely to fire. They act like brakes.
Okay, so you've got encouragement and breaks happening simultaneously at different spots.
Precisely. And spatial summation is the neuron basically tallying those up, weighing the go signals against the stop signals.
This sounds like a crucial balancing act.
It really is. It's how the nervous system integrates information. It allows for much more, nuanced responses than just a simple on-off switch.
So it can react differently depending on the overall pattern of input.
Exactly. It's considering the big picture from all those simultaneous inputs. It's quite sophisticated.
How do neuroscientists even study this? It sounds incredibly tiny and fast.
Oh, they use various techniques, electrophysiology, imaging. It's a major focus because it's so fundamental to understanding neural computation.
So does this summing up always lead to the neuron firing? If it gets enough go signals?
Not necessarily. That's the interesting part. Even with multiple excitatory inputs, if there are enough strong inhibitory signals arriving at the same time,
The brakes can win.
the brakes can win, yes. Or maybe the excitatory signals just aren't strong enough or close enough together in space or time. The overall sum might not reach the threshold needed to trigger that action potential.
So location matters a lot then. Where these signals land on the dendrite.
Hugely important. Signals, especially excitatory ones, that land closer to the axon hillock, that's the neuron's trigger zone,
Okay.
they have a much bigger influence. It's like trying to push a lever, pushing closer to the pivot point has more effect.
That makes intuitive sense. What about the shape of the dendrites themselves? All that branching.
That plays a role too. That complex structure isn't just random. Different branches can have different electrical properties.
Really?
Yeah, which affects how signals travel and add up. It's another layer of complexity in how the neuron processes information. It fine-tunes the integration.
Wow. And does this tie into things like learning and memory?
Oh, absolutely. Spatial summation is deeply connected to synaptic plasticity.
Which is how connections between neurons get stronger or weaker.
Exactly. How effectively these signals summate can change based on activity patterns. That strengthening and weakening is, well, a core mechanism behind how we learn and form memories.
So the way neurons vote can change over time,
That's a good analogy, yes. The influence of certain inputs can be adjusted.
which implies that if this process gets messed up,
Right. If spatial summation is impaired, perhaps by certain diseases or injuries.
that could cause problems.
It certainly can. It highlights just how vital this precise integration is for, normal brain function. Disrupting it can have significant neurological consequences.
Okay, so let's try to wrap this up. The main takeaway seems to be spatial summation is the neuron's way of listening to many opinions from different neurons at different locations all at once.
And adding them up, balancing the excitatory yes votes and inhibitory no votes.
Before deciding whether to fire its own signal, its own action potential.
Precisely. It's taking a snapshot of the network's consensus at that moment.
That's really fascinating. Thinking about how all these separate inputs arriving in different places add up to one decision point makes you wonder.
What about?
Well, think about that concept integrating simultaneous inputs in other areas, other complex systems. What happens when the inputs are maybe contradictory or arrive unevenly. Definitely food for thought.
It certainly is. A fundamental principle with wide applications.
Indeed. Well, that's all the time we have for this deep dive. Until next time.